Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast State of the Balance. How are things looking after the spring update? Well, looks like now we're heading to summer update. So, what are the sort of state of affairs? I mean, overall, sort of starting, from the Allies, looking at the surge, they've all been increasing sort of in terms of strategic variety. I mean, overall, you're now seeing conscript builds, support company builds, special rifle commands, both penal troops and snipers. I mean, essentially, all of this is just a massive increase in strategies being attempted. T-35s, IS-2s are seeing a lot more usage as well. So, I mean, overall, just in terms of surge strategy, we're not seeing double T-7, but it's just like a massive explosion, just strategies being attempted by the surge. Structurally, it's mostly guard motor, armored assault and such, but like, maybe some guard rifle, but in other ways, it's just been there's a massive explosion just in sort of strategic varieties. So, I mean, overall, they say the Soviets have benefited greatly from the spring update, and overall it means you have sort of a lot more things to watch out for. But overall, doctrinally, guard motor, armored assault, lesser degree guard rifle, sort of currently sort of thing the more common ones that sort of see some usage. Those are worth keeping an eye out for. But like otherwise, certain players can go in a lot of directions, So I mean, in that regard, that's a big plus there. American-wise, there's been some changes. Well, Pershings are slightly caught on more, though they're still kind of the only heavy tank before the patch or really any usage. But beyond that, there's been some, well, not big changes there, really. I mean, there's less Jackson spam overall. I mean, they'll still go for them, they're still good, but they're not so just able to just rely on them singularly. There's some Scots, for example, now being utilised to help deal with infantry. And overall, thanks to some of the other changes, they are forced to sort of be more careful in the early game. So, I mean, there's definitely been some changes there. They sort of slightly react differently, and there might be some slight increase in captains as well. But for the most part, though, it's a lot of the same with the Americans. A lot of anti-aircraft artillery, the word about vehicles, 50 calibers, riflemen, maybe some mortars. Infantry company seeing some increase in usage, though, with its light machine guns, mortar half-tracks, maybe some of those priests, self-propelled houses. But beyond that, there's not been a massive shift in the Americans compared to with the search rig, and just boom, lots of strategies for the Americans. Sort of, well, nothing really changes. It's less like certain things get overused, less. But beyond that, I wouldn't really say there's been again a massive shift in American strategy. Similarly for the Brits, not a massive shift there. Most British players, I mean, nothing really changed with the infantry. Sure, the Bren got nerfed, but the thing is, before that, most British players wouldn't go for the Bren gun anyways, because just boltering infantry sections was really powerful. So, I mean, there's not really been a lot of change. The bigger change has basically been they've gone for more Cromwells, and I'm actually seeing Comets and more Churchills and such. I mean, that is overall an increase in premium and heavy armor, but premium, medium, and heavy armor. But beyond that, there's not really, again, a massive shift in sort of British strategy. Again, there'll be some who go for Vickers now, but again, most of the time, lots of sections, bolster, grenades. Some go for Bren guns now, but again, they're a minority. And doctrinally, I mean, there's definitely been an increase in command after sort of Armstrong showed off how good it is, but a lot of the time it's still mobile assault or special weapons. So while there's been a slight shift in the British strategies overall, I mean, it's probably a bit more than the Americans, to truth be told, in some ways. Overall, a lot of the other ways, that it hasn't really changed a lot there. So, I mean, a lot of the sort of same rules still apply essentially in this. Not in that sense, a lot you have to worry about in just them suddenly pulling a new strategy. Not really. Moving on to the Germans, the Oberkommando has definitely seen an increase in their strategy. There's mechanized regiments with Luxus and Pumas. Flak half-track has slightly caught on again, though, lately, so that's certainly something happening there. Panthers are a thing now as well. Command Panthers also caught on a bit more. Now the mechanized regiment builds are sort of catching on. So there's definitely been a sort of slightly more branching out in Oberkommando West strategy. So overall, they're doctrinally, though, a lot of the same. Special operations, those caught on more, but others, Luftwaffe, even a bit of scavenging in there. So I mean, again, nothing sort of massive there, but still, I think overall more than the Americans. And still, again, I mean, overall Panthers in usage is definitely sort of a big step up, Panzer IVs and such. So I mean, again, there has been some change. Of course, the mechanized regiment being utilised again is, of course, an even bigger one. So I mean, there are some changes there, something notable change there. Again, sort of how things you have to keep mindful of. You certainly have to be more ready for German light vehicles now from the Oberkommando more than you were used to, because again, if they push for a look and you're not ready, you could end in a lot of trouble. And similarly, a Panther being rushed out could possibly, depending on what you go for, give you some trouble there. So as well, that's something to keep in mind. And there's, I suppose, also a slight increase in Obersoldaten. So again, some changes there, some new strategies being enacted, some new tactics. which finally moves us on to the Wehrmacht, which has certainly seen some greater change, well, probably sort of almost on the same level as the Soviets. I mean, Tier 2 is definitely a much bigger part of it now, more 2-2s, flame for a half time. Again, the 2-2 buff is just big, and there's a knock-on effect to an extent with the other Tier 2. There's certainly some going for more Panzer gun ideas. Panzer strikes, while not necessarily being spammed as much initially worried, are still something to keep an eye out for, because they can still go for them in a pinch if you're not ready. So that is definitely something to keep in mind of. Tier 4 rush strategy is definitely a thing, and partly due to the massive increase in mobile defense, has really become one of the most utilized Wehrmacht doctrines. After suddenly again Tier 4 become more useful, mobile defense is commonly used to sort of help you skip Tier 3 and then push your Panthers or Sturmpanzer. So I mean, again, Wehrmacht just got a massive boost in Tier 4, something I quite frankly did not predict would happen. I'm completely taken aback there. I mean, I was actually wrong, so go figure. I mean, I love being wrong in these ways. I mean, that's fun. That means I got more to learn. And certainly also means, there's still room for me to be surprised in, which is good. So, I mean, yeah. Wehrmacht Tier 4 strategies definitely increase. Wehrmacht Tier 3 strategies, of course, still happen. Tier 3 rushes don't quite have as much again. Tier 4 rushes are usually sort of supported by mobile defense in most cases. That way, use the Puma and other things sort of catch up there. But, yeah. Big sort of shift in strategy from the Wehrmacht. And again, big increase in strategies being utilized, which again is pretty neat, pretty fun, and pretty cool. So that's certainly something there to keep in mind while playing against the Wehrmacht. They can certainly pull Panthers against you. Hell, they can maybe sort of stall with Tier 3 armor and then sort of sneak in a Panther. So there's a lot more strategies for the Wehrmacht to be, mindful of. The new Sturmpanzer 4 also sees a lot of uses, and there are actually some rushing out Sturmpanzer 4s, so they're far ahead because that one also packs that patch. So, I mean, there's definitely been an increase there for the Wehrmacht. The Wehrmacht, I think, I definitely felt a significant gain from the spring patch, which I definitely did not quite anticipate would be so great. So yeah, that is great. So that's certainly something to keep in mind while playing against the Wehrmacht. They certainly can pull a lot more tricks off now, and the Panthers actually, something to be worried about as well. I mean, again, essentially what has happened, they're basically making a lot of heavy armor viable, and we're talking Tigers, King Tigers, IS-2s, Church, and all that. Is basically all of the tank destroyers essentially got nerfed, at least a bunch in the H-6, Stug, Jackson, Five. All this has basically been brought down to a level alongside a few other changes, including Wehrmacht light vehicles being better, has suddenly made a lot of the heavier armor a lot more viable. And again, includes Panthers, King Tigers, and all that, because they're not quite as easily counted. Suddenly, they have a bit more utility. Plus, the Panthers, having a good rate of fire, just being able to soak up more hits even when they penetrate, also has helped them a bunch there. So there's definitely been, I think, some shifts there in the meta that's just resulted in heavy armor and premium medium tanks seeing a lot of uses. I mean, T-35, for example, become very popular with the Soviets, and certainly something worth keeping in mind there as well. So, I mean, yeah, big shifts in the meta. The spring patch ended up, well, in many ways, completely just exceeding my expectations and completely just dashing them into the ground and replacing them with something else. So, yeah, I would say the spring patch so far has proven to be a, pleasant surprise and a nice success, I would say, overall for the meta, because overall I am seeing a lot more strategies being enacted, a lot more tactics, and as far as the Propagandacaster goes, that's great. That means there's more stuff to actually choose between, cast from, and again, more stuff to comment on. So that's always a plus, always a plus. So let's see what, whatever summer balance patch, which they seem to have sort of snug in there, or at least hinted at with some news updates about something they're planning on revealing on the 25th. Plus there's also mention of a map revision there as well of some of the maps. I mean, there's clearly something happening there. So, well, let's see what actually happens there. Until then, this is Imperial Lane signing off. Hopefully this video has been of use to you. If you haven't, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. If you'd like what to do consider supporting on Patreon or PayPal. Either way, it helps me out a ton, allows me to keep making all of these videos. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Lane. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another day for another video. Cheers.